Yeah. These fucking wasabi and soy sauce almonds.
They're pretty good.
They're so good. Stay the fuck home.
Stay the fuck at home.
Stay the fuck home.
Film Society. We decided just like the natural, flow of things. We saw Breakfast at Tiffany's, upper echelon, New York or whatever. And now we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back to Harlem.
And we're bringing it forward.
Back and forward at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
It's like going back to the future. Should we just say where the film is?
Oh, we didn't do that yet?
No.
Oh, you said Harlem.
Yeah, I just said Harlem.
It's Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights. We got Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote it and he directed it.
And he produced it too.
Richard Pryor, Redd Foxx, Danny Aiello, Michael Lerner, Della Reese, Stan Shaw, Jasmine Guy, Belinda Tolbert, Lela Rockin.
I'm Leela Rashad.
Arsenio Hall, Tommy Ford, Robin Harris, Vic Polizos, David Marciano, and Miguel A. Nunez Jr.
Damn, you read a lot of the cast.
It's star-studded. Before we rip this film to shreds in any kind of capacity, I just want to shout out Eddie Murphy because I love Eddie Murphy. I feel like if I ever met Eddie Murphy in real life, he's one of those few people where I would cry. In this film, he's really accomplished, I feel, what every actor's dream is. He had made bank off of some serious blockbusters, and he was in the position to do his own thing, and he brought his whole crew in with him. Black Hollywood is just like it's just like late 80s heyday. He just really provided, this amazing platform for so many people to come together and do something big. Props to that. That's just, he's living the dream, it's incredible. Herbie Hancock did the music for it, come on. So now that I've, paid homage to Eddie Murphy, I think now we can kind of delve in and really dissect this, objectively. No, you've seen this film before.
Like 12, 13 years ago, I was a teenager. Like I told you, the only scene I remember is the fucking fat girl getting beat up in the alleyway. I didn't remember who it was. I just remember he shoots her in the toe. Spoiler alert. Like, I'm gonna cut you with this razor. He's like, nah, bitch. And then he apologized to her, at the end of the film. He's like, I'm sorry, I shot you in the toe. She's making tuna sandwiches. Which, by the way, she prepared, tuna salad in, 20 seconds, which is impossible. Redd Foxx is like, bitch, make me some tuna salad. And literally, Eddie Murphy walks in the room. She's already mixed the mayonnaise, cut the onions and everything. Did she just pop it out of the can? But it clearly had mayonnaise on it.
It was 80% bread. It looked very pillowy.
But the ratio to tuna she put on.
It wasn't enough tuna.
She smeared it on like a bagel.
Just the era that it's set in. My great-grandma came up in the mid-20s in Harlem, and I just kept thinking about her and what life was like. It was cool to kind of just be a fly on the wall. Everyone's done up. The costume design, the set design, the cars. You're just swept up in the glitz and glamour of it. But there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Bitch, please.
It was filmed all in Los Angeles, and it's very apparent. They could have found an area of New York that maybe resembled the old Harlem. All they would have needed to find was a block or two, and they could have done up that block. And instead they shot in Los Angeles. There was a scene where they were in 110th and Lenox, and it was what is it's not there's no effort to make it look like New York.
Yo, man, I don't know what you're talking about!
Charlie Murphy's in the movie.
Charlie Murphy!
I forgot. I'm so sorry, Charlie Murphy. I didn't shout you out.
In 1989, it's a pretty good role for him. He did his thing.
Inconsistencies. There was a scene where Eddie Murphy jumps out of a moving vehicle, rolls to evade a car, rolls to evade another car, and then runs into the window of a storefront, a storefront window. Busts through the glass, and he's fine.
And then
gets tear in his suit.
Arsenio Hall was in this.
Only way you're going home is that motherfucker!
I don't know if I was feeling the performance. As soon as you saw Arsenio Hall on the screen, he started crying. 12 minutes straight, and he just never stopped crying. What the fuck is going on?
Basically, Tommy Ford gets murked by the mob. Eddie Murphy comes upon his body first. He plays it off, he underplays it, makes a joke, backs out of there.
I think I'm gonna leave, because you probably wanna sit there by yourself alone and think about who you pissed off.
Arsenio Hall plays Tommy's brother. He overplays it.
Take care of my brother, man!
It's alright, we'll get him. I know it hurts.
You messed with the wrong niggas, brother.
The contrast comedically works. He just drags out the joke for too long.
Oh, really?
That's the thing. Like, Eddie Murphy, comedic genius, amazing actor. I don't know about this in terms of writing. Another script, his, like, Eddieisms are such a treat. Whereas in this script, comedic ad-libs that were thrown in or comedic choices that were thrown in, they just seem disjointed.
No, it didn't. That's bullshit.
It's like they almost didn't pick a genre for this movie. That scene with Arsenio Hall, it felt like a sketch comedy almost. Like, it was just, like, ridiculous. And then you had scenes that were like watching a mob movie. It was all over the place. Yeah. I think they could have cut like at least 20 to 30 minutes off. It's a long-ass movie. You can't like front that there's a lot of talent in the film. I don't think Eddie, like, for lack of a better word, knows how to coax a good performance.
What I envision probably happened on set. Eddie Murphy's in this environment with like a bunch of his homies, you know? Arsenio's like, yo, my man's feeling it, like, cool. But is it serving the plot? Like, is this serving a purpose?
There was a lot of
circle jerking
in this film.
You jerk off? Do I jerk off?
It tends to happen a lot when you get a lot of really good people in a cast.
It happened in The Irishman, you know. You get like a close knit.
No, it definitely happened in The Irishman.
You dumb motherfuckers!
Everyone wants to flex, and there's also a lot of egos in the room too.
Props to him for like going for it, like 200%, but it left some things to be desired.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Back then, the makeup for black people was not as...
They really caked it on Eddie Murphy. They penciled in his eyebrows. Like, he was just looking very pretty.
Richard Pryor looked older in the first scene of the movie than he did throughout the rest. Like, I didn't feel like 20 years went by.
Yeah, when they said 20 years, I was like, you sure?
Redd Foxx is dead at that point. Redd Foxx looks like a senior citizen in the first scene. It's like 20 years later, looks the same.
And something else about like Eddie Murphy's character in terms of the character development. I'm trying to figure out what he was going for.
Well, that's
like, is he a sociopath? Like, is he a silly sociopath? What was written in the text and what was reinforced by Calhoun is that he's supposed to be this like hothead, egotistical. He runs off of emotion. Eddie Murphy had those moments of being rash. He underplayed it and was very like, you know, like calm, cool, and collected about it. But then he would be like Eddie, like silly, and it's just like, okay, like where are we going with this?
I noticed this as soon as they skipped from the first scene to like the 20 years later.
Yeah,
it's like these guys didn't do their like they didn't like fill in that time. So I'm like, this is just Eddie Murphy in a fly suit. There was one scene I remember where like Eddie really like was like, "You try to kill me, I'ma kill him," right? And Richard Pryor's like, "Sit down." He's like, "All right." Oh, and then another thing is like Richard Pryor, like I just thought he was too soft. Richard Pryor's a sweet dude, and that's why I love him. But like he was too sweet to like be like in that position.
I mean, I guess this was like post rehab or something, but he just seemed like so mellow. You're the person who's running this whole operation.
Cops came in, he was like, "All right, like I'll give you everything." I don't know. What'd you think of Danny Aiello?
I love Danny Aiello.
Well, he's good.
He knows exactly when to reel it in and like just like throw it out.
And I'm living in a fucking hovel.
He reels it in and he'll say nigger with a smile.
Must not be a nigger in the street with a healthy toot in his mouth.
Oh shit, okay.
Charlie Murphy. He had like, I want to say 2 or 3 lines. And I thought he killed them. Like
he was great.
Jimmy, was that the right calculation?
Yeah, give or take a couple of hours.
I kind of saw the trajectory of his career of where he was going. Like no training, no acting, no nothing. And he's just so grounded and like in it and like focused. And
he was very present. He really like kind of took that back seat and like kind of watched what was happening around him and learned from what was happening around him and really carved his own path. And like you could definitely see that in his performance.
Sure, yeah. Who's the girl who plays the chick who seduces what's his name?
Lila Rocket.
I'm Lila Rashani.
He's in Seinfeld. Like he plays the guy who hooks up his cable, illegally hooks up his cable.
Bezos.
Yeah, this Russian cat.
I'm going out of town tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay?
But like the girl who like seduced him, I'm like, what is going on? I don't know if I believed like a.
But that's like type that she like plays. You remember her in Boomerang?
Gold star for Marcus. Dinner was yummy.
Eddie Murphy went on a date with her, and she's got the jacked up feet.
So she's, oh yeah, she's got the shit. Yeah, okay. So that's just what she does then.
Yeah, she's just really cute.
That's just what she does. Didn't believe it was Harlem. Didn't believe it was 1938. At the end of the film, Eddie Murphy's just like, they paid off some white guys.
They paid off the cops.
The cops are like, thank you very much. Eddie Murphy's like, peace.
I don't think he said peace. I thought Richard Pryor said peace.
It was either Eddie Murphy or Richard, but they were like, peace. And I'm like... What year is this?
You see Jasmine Guy in like the red suit, dark blue, like lower lid eyeliner. Her cheekbones are popping, you're just like mesmerized. Just like, Jesus Christ. Like, obviously, her whole like role was a front. She was duping Eddie the whole time. She was Creole from Louisiana, but I'm like, all right, where's your trademark like Southern drawl?
My third grade teacher talked like that, and I thought it was funny.
How is she gonna expect him to believe that she's from Louisiana when she talks like that?
I know.
I feel like it would have worked better if it was like, if the film was sillier almost.
We were told to comb the desert, so we're combing it. Found anything yet? We ain't found shit.
Like if they just committed to like, this is gonna be like a silly film.
A lot of the inconsistencies would have been forgiven if they just committed to like,
oh yeah, for sure,
we're gonna be a comedy.
You don't expect it to be like as authentic or be mad that it doesn't, like that they film in LA, or because we know what it is.
There was a scene in the beginning where there was a horse like neighing, but like it wasn't a real horse.
Damn. And they put a lot of money into this movie too. They couldn't get a real horse. It made some money though. I think, let me look. Budget was $30 million and they grossed 90, almost 96 million. All the best actors have made subpar. Like no one's perfect every time, except like Quentin Tarantino. But like that's like an anomaly.
When you get it right, you get it right.
Strongest performance. I feel like you touched upon it, right?
Or Danny Aiello. Honestly, it's a tie between Danny Aiello, Redd Foxx, and then Charlie Murphy gets an honorable mention.
Charlie Murphy!
I second all that and also raise you a Della Race.
Now this is your place, but I am in charge of the girls.
And even the people with like weaker performances had good moments besides Arsenio Hall. Sorry.
Shut the fuck up!
Who wants to rate it first?
I'll rate it.
Okay.
This is hard, considering so many different aspects. Just having the balls to like produce this, inconsistencies, cast. All right, this might be overly generous, but in my heart, this is how I'm reconciling everything. 3 toilet paper rolls.
Okay. I give it 2.5.
That was my other, yeah. That's fair.
2.5 is me putting all of my love for these actors aside, because I have to view it objectively. Would I recommend it? I don't know.
I mean, if you love Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor or Redd Foxx, I would definitely recommend it.
You watch it once, but I don't think you'll watch it again. If you want to watch Richard Pryor, where he shines is in his stand-up.
All right, give me the money, motherfucker. Doing my best black shit, you know.
Him and Gene Wilder have great chemistry, though. Anything he's done with Gene Wilder. One Silver Streak, I think it's Silver Streak, where they're on the train. And then they have the one where one of them is deaf and one of them is blind. You're no evil, so you know, I don't know. I still had a good time.
Yeah, had some laughs.
Most notably when Eddie Murphy jumped through the window. For no reason.
No reason.
He didn't have to do that at all.
Definitely unnecessary.
That's what happens when there's no one on set telling you no.
That's what happens when you have, like, the fucking budget and the position to, like, you know, live out your wildest dreams. If you had a big budget Hollywood film that you were producing, directing, that you wrote, you could do whatever the fuck you want. What would you throw in there just because you could?
Maybe that I'm eating a really great meal in the film, like, and then I'm actually getting to eat it.
I would want to, like, jump out of a helicopter.
No, I'm good. I actually don't even want to do that. Yeah, I think that's about it, right?
That's it.
Harlem Nights, baby. Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights. Yeah, it's just stay the fuck home.
Yeah.
And try these nuts.